Ooh, auto chaps, recently I've been playing a ton of Skyrim again and I thought I'd chat about it. This is Special Edition, which is what, the second or third release out of what, 12 now? There's a reason Bethesda keeps re-releasing Skyrim, and that's because it's good enough that people want to keep buying it. And it's funny, because Skyrim gets a bad rap for how it removed a lot of the more complicated RPG elements from previous Elder Scrolls games, like custom spells and enchantments, attributes and classes, but I think it's largely from a crowd that wanted Morrowind 2.0 more than anything else. Now, I'm not bemoaning that crowd. I mean, I'm with them on a lot of those points. I do like me some complex RPG systems and some character building, but Skyrim managed to grab the attention of a ton more people and bring them into the fold, so to speak, by making things more accessible, and I'm all in favour of getting more people into gaming. I'm not really sure why I went on that mini ramble there, but it does lead me into some of the mods that I'm playing with, because there are so many ways to customise and change the game to your liking, which means that you can bring back some of those missing things or inject new ones entirely. Ordinator, Summer Mist and Apocalypse spells, all by Sion, who I can't pronounce at all. I'm sorry dude if you ever see this. Between these three mods, Skyrim has never felt more interesting to level up in for me. There's a number of other mods this fantastic author has made too, but I've yet to give Andromeda, Sacrosanct and any of his others a go yet. Ordinator overhauls every single perk tree, making everything feel unique and interesting to use, and it opens up a massive plethora of options in terms of actually building a unique feeling character. Summer Mist adds a ton of fun new enchantments to the game, such as the incredibly handy light aura, so you don't need to carry around a torch and can happily use two-handed weapons in the dark. Finally, disease damage, armor draining, or perhaps an enchantment that changes the target's name to something insulting and does some more damage. Fortify shield bash damage is something I've built a whole character around, for example. And Apocalypse spells, which adds a ton more variety to the magic in the game and includes my favourite spell ever, Akatos Recital, which you can teach to autocast 3 spells when combat starts. So that means no more fiddling around awkwardly with armor spells and hotkeys constantly, so praise Talos. With these 3 mods combined, I built a shield bashing character that has massive investments in blocking, heavy armor and enchanting. The idea being to use the shield as offensively as possible for damage, as well as for keeping myself alive with fortify stamina regen, resist magic and elements, and improved stagger effects. The block tree has lots of potential for fun gameplay thanks to Ordinator's perk overhaul. Timed blocks rewards skillful use of the shield, giving you much more of an efficient block that takes less stamina and blocks more damage, but you have to time it right. One perk allows timed blocks to reduce magic damage to 0, making both Dragon Breath and Mages much more easy to deal with. Skull Rattler means bashes do a lot more damage based on how much maximum stamina I have, which combines quite nicely with the perk Dragon Tail, which makes bashes do double damage after a timed block. Power bashing during an enemy attack can knock them to the floor, and completing consecutive timed blocks can restore both stamina and disarm enemies. Overall, the Shield Maiden character was a lot of fun to play, relying on enemies to give you the opportunity to retaliate for huge amounts of damage. Tons of fun. I also recently played a dual axe wielding orc in heavy armor that felt like a whirlwind in combat. More like a dervish really. Initially it's weak because of the inability to block, but when the stacking damage increases and armor bonuses kicked in from the heavy armor tree, the extra damage bonuses from Mana War in the one-handed tree, the block punishing forwards power attacks that knock shields to the ground, and the random murderous frenzy from Unleash the Beast, and you've suddenly got yourself an unstoppable whirling dervish of axe death right there, and it's really satisfying to play. Some of the footage here is also from a rogue type character. I don't often play sneaky characters in Skyrim because I feel like it's too easy to become completely undetectable, but Ordinator manages to keep things fair, and I get seen extremely easily when outside and trying to sneak. Indoors is another matter. I can slip through dungeons without so much as disturbing anyone, but it's much more fun to go for the kills anyway, so I find myself doing that regardless. And also none of that sneaky archer stuff. This character only uses daggers and has barely any damage when going toe to toe with enemies. It's only truly effective from stealth. I do have the ability to go invisible for 2 seconds during combat, but that doesn't always help and I often get sliced to pieces or battered by random bandits, or if a dragon so much as looks at me, I'm dead. I mean, they literally can just land and one-shot me with the kill animation. Dragons, they're deadly, as it happens. So while combat isn't really the rogue's thing, I do get to make good use of the pickpocket perks, which make stealing from random NPCs a whole lot more fun. Sometimes in towns I get a random minigame sort of thing, where I have to track down a specific NPC mark and steal from them before they can escape. If I do that, they'll carry a bunch of valuable items, and in my case that's a lot of jewellery thanks to the Thief's Luck perk, which allows you to pick certain item types to be more commonly found on these marks, and after stealing something from one of these marks, a new person might get marked as well, and this can chain up to 4 times, giving me plenty of tasty loot to sell off later on. And since my character invested so much into speech, I can talk to the guards and get them to sort of look the other way and not arrest me almost every time, because it's a non-violent crime, and I can then sell my stolen goods to just about anybody, which is pretty great too. There's also a perk that allows me to spend 50,000 gold to buy more perk points, so there's always a reason to be thieving. Some of the other mods that I've installed are Skyrim Immersive Creatures, which adds a ton of new enemy types and expands the variety of creatures, which is always welcome because Skyrim does get a bit overpopulated with bandits from time to time. Interesting NPCs, which adds, well, tons of interesting NPCs to the world, along with quests and followers that have plenty to comment on as you play. It's good if you've never tried it. It's not on the Nexus, you'll have to Google it. Honed Metal, which allows blacksmiths and enchanters to actually do their jobs and make things for you, meaning I don't need to grind enchanting on every single character, which is so useful and welcome, my god. Zero Frost's Valkyrie armour, which is what my shield maiden was wearing. Some Witcher 3 female armours, which my rogue is wearing one of Yennefer's outfits, I think. Billy Rose Ultimate Swords Anthology, which adds a huge assortment of well-crafted daggers, swords, axes, maces and all sorts of other weapons to the world, which are fun to come across because who doesn't like unique loot? Seriously, if you're out there and you're listening, then you need to reevaluate that stance, I think. Literally, I think I'm talking to nobody in that case. And Legacy of the Dragonborn, which is far too much to talk about, quite frankly. To sum it up though, the mod adds a museum in Solitude that you can collect hundreds and hundreds of unique items for, and displays them lovingly for you to bask in your accomplishments. And if you're anything like me, then you do like collecting all that unique loot, and you also like putting it in your player-owned houses, so this is a bloody brilliant mod because it adds places for them to go properly, and it displays them, and you get to actually see them instead of just shoving them in chests and never seeing them again. It also adds quests, tons of new items, and changes the looks of a lot of the less interesting uniques, as well as having integration with loads of other popular mods as well, so what's not to like about this? My rogue has collected somewhere around 500 items and I haven't even focused on it yet. So there's a lot to do. And there you go, that's what I've been doing in Skyrim yet again. I'm thinking about doing some sort of casual let's plays for each of the characters that I have in mind, and I have about 30 builds in mind to make, and not even kidding, you should see the spreadsheet. Yes, I've made a spreadsheet, oh god, what am I doing with my life? So let me know if you're interested in seeing any of those characters tackle anything in particular. Locations more than quests, since I can't guarantee that I won't already have done some of those quests, but I'll see if I can go exploring for some videos and show off my characters. We'll have to see. Feedback pending. Let's see what you have to say about that. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.